President Trump acquitted on all charges of articles of impeachment. Who didn't see that coming? What surprises me is that it wasn't a wider margin of victory because there was no case. As a matter of fact, just like everything else the Democrats have tried, it was an illegal investigation predicated on false information. The Democrats, in an attempt to protect themselves, twisted the available information and tried to omit the fact that due to a treaty involving the Ukraine, it's quite literally the president's job to raise questions upon suspected corruption. And not doing so would be a violation of his oath of office. As far as the second article of impeachment goes, obstruction of Congress, there can be no obstruction of an illegal inquiry. There can be no obstruction of an illegal trial for that fact because the Congress never voted to impeach the president. They just went ahead with it because the president was getting too close by doing his job, inquiring about corruption in the Ukraine. It would be nice to be able to say that we can put this all behind us now and get on with the business of the country. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen because the Democrats still have something to hide. Their involvement in the corruption of Ukraine. Most of you should have figured out by now that Ukraine is a candy store for American money. You send the money into the Ukrainian government, they give it to a company like Burisma, and they wash it back to the people who voted to give them the money in the first place, or who are in charge of the programs that got them the money in the first place. Everybody gets their cut, except for the people or the programs where the money was intended to go in the first place. And that barely scratches the surface of where all of this eventually should lead. Should justice finally prevail? Should the people who have been subverting the laws that have been written and embezzling the money that was supposed to go here, there, and wherever should ever be brought to actual justice? So at this point, the worm has turned. The shoe is on the other foot because the questions have been raised in a public forum, bringing it to the attention of the American people, who by now should be totally fed up with all of this and be demanding factual answers to the questions that have been raised. Namely, the question, why are the Democrats doing all of this? What has been their motivations? And just exactly what is it they're trying to hide?